Hello, I just opened up Minitab 2 Problem 1 Data. I'm going to show you a couple of things that could help you with Minitab 2. So I'm just going to show you a couple of things. First, I enable the commands because you have to do that if you want your commands to work. I'm going to mostly work from the drop-down menus because I just kind of want to show you how to maneuver around inside the graph to get what you want. Now, first of all, let's look at a pie chart. Now, I asked you to do a pie chart of the race. I'm going to do it of let's do it for sex. I know it's just 2, female, male, but I'm going to do it for that one. Now in our data set, 1 was a male, 2 was a female. So let's do a pie chart. So go into here, and you could use your commands here also to do the pie chart. So I click into the categorical variable, and out comes things that we could put in there. So we're doing the C1, the sex of the person, and then I just hit OK. So I get my basic pie chart here. But there's going to be problems because, number one, we have a bad title here. We need to change it. Instead of pie chart, remember what we do since we work with distributions in statistics, we want to make this distribution of sex for the 65,418 respondents. Okay, so now we have a good title for our pie chart. Now 1 and 2 doesn't tell us anything. What you're going to do is you're going to go over to 1, and then you want to say 1 equal male. Hit OK. And then the same thing you're going to do for 2. And 2 is female. So now they know that 1 goes with the male, 2 goes with the green, the female. But now remember, we wanted percentage and titles here for our slices. So I've right-clicked on my mouse, and I say Add. I want to add slice labels, and we want the category name and the percent. Let's do this first. Let's do category name. Because in here, you could actually click into that. And let's see if we can get in there. So I can go in here and say 1 is male. Okay. Then go over here to this one and say 2 is female. Then you wouldn't even have to have the 1 equal male, 2 equal female there. You've got that. And then here I can add my percents. I'm showing you all different ways you can go in here and change things around. So there you have that. And if you got in there and changed male and female, you don't even need the 1 equal here. You can go in. Oh, not there. Make sure you're pressing just the right way, and just now say. Now that we've got that going, you can just have that. And do the same for female. So you've got a nice pie chart. So in other words, you can't just leave it 1 and 2 because no one would know what those were. So you can go in there and change things. Make a nice graph. So that's how you would do a pie chart. Now let's look at the bar graph. So we're going to say OK. Again, for column 1, go in there. And hit OK, let the bar graph come up. But this is in counts, and we want relative frequency bar graphs for this one. So you can't just go in here and change, you can't just go in there and change the title. Changing the title does not change this to a relative frequency. What you do is right click, say graph options. We want to show Y as a percent, and hit OK. Now again, we've got some trouble here because what is 1? So we have to tell somebody what 1 is and also change the title. So again, we'd say distribution, put title in there. And then we have to change 1 and 2, or we have to let somebody know what 1 and 2 is, what that stands for. So let's go in here. We want to change the 1 and 2. So I'm going to go in here and kind of click on it. And then we're going to go to labels, and we can change the 1 and the 2. it was on automatic. I'm going to hit it into specified, and instead of 1, I'm going to say male, and instead of 2, I'm going to say female. So now I've got very nice labels on here, and I'm good to go. Okay? So that's how you would change that. Now the last thing that I'm going to do right here to help you is to do the histogram. And we ask for different samples. And basically what this problem is showing you is our sample size gets larger, it better represents the bigger population. But this is what you would do. Let's say that I wanted a sample of 75. So I'd say sample 75. And remember, I don't have to write the whole sample out. I could have just written the first four letters, and Minitab will know the command, but so I wrote the whole word out. That's okay. So I want to do it on income, so I say from income. So I want to take a sample of 75 from the income, and now put it in a column that has nothing in it, otherwise you'll lose the data. So I do that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a title on here saying this is my sample of 75. So I know exactly what the sample size is there. Now I'm ready to do a histogram. Now what you can do is you can go right into the graph, say histogram, and again remember this is just one of the gazillion ways because you could use the cut point command. But if we're going to be doing a comparison, it is better to leave it in the same range with the same number of classes as the original. In the Minitab, I showed you how to do a cut point command based on their sample and the sample range, because some of these graphs, when you would do them, would look a little bit funny, and I didn't want anybody to get worried. But the real proper way to do this problem would be to do a histogram with the same range as your original data. The original data had a range from 0 to 800,000 with 20 classes. So how can I make my sample look like that? Well, I hit sample, hit select, hit OK, and voila, there I've got that, but this isn't right. First of all, I've got frequency, I've got bad titles, the whole thing. So I go in here, and I say distribution of, hit OK, and then I can do a sample of 70. Okay, I got to change that because I have to say that it's the income for the sample of 75, and down here we have it in dollars. We do have units. Forgot to do of income for sample of 75. Now I have to change frequency to relative frequency. This is where you tap on the y-axis, left click on it, and change the type of graph. We want a percent, not frequency, but percent, relative frequency. And now it's time to change my my graph down here. You see that they're at midpoint, so there's a couple of things we have to change. First, our binning. It needs to be at the cut points. I want to tell it that I want 20 intervals, just like my original. And now I'm going to go to the scale, and I want my scale to match my original. The original went from 0 to 800,000. And now I hit OK. And now I've got something I can compare to the original and things. But there's a nice distribution. So that's how we work with the Minitab. And Minitab 2 is pretty self-explanatory, but this is what I showed most of the class, well, most of my classes. Hope it helps.